everyone. Are you excited about this new school year and want to choose a science homeschool curriculum that is perfect for your family? Well, I am going to go in depth today, tell you about all the pros and cons of each of these. We'll be looking at Apologia and Masterbooks. I hope you stick around to the very end because I will be telling you about some Charlotte Mason style books that I love for science. So stick around to the end so that you can see those as well. Apologia Science was one of the very first science curriculums that we went through when my child turned school age. So this has a great place in my heart. We love Apologia Science. One pro for Apologia Science is that it comes with a notebook. You have to buy it separately, but it goes directly with this curriculum. You have a junior notebook and a regular notebook. It just depends on how old your child is. So that's a great way for them to chronicle what they are learning. There's a lot of places for them to draw images, to label, to answer questions. So this is a very good hands-on way for them to keep that learning generalized so that they keep learning and they remember it. It's also a good way for you to flip through each week and to recall what you have learned. I'm a big believer in just keeping going through and refreshing that knowledge so that they can see what they learned and that you can help them to remember what they've learned. So this is Exploring Creation with Zoology. There is a huge, vast line of books. They go from everywhere from animals, swimming creatures, to birds. They have space exploration, you name it, Apologia has it. And they are so well recommended. Another pro to this curriculum is that they are super God focused. They bring everything back to the Lord. I sincerely treasure that. I love the Bible verses that they include in this. I love how they go back to creation and talk about the animals. And I love how detailed it is. And let me tell you about this program. Another huge pro of this curriculum is that it is so scientifically accurate and it is so scientifically robust. The words in here, the vocabulary is so rich. If you do Apologia Science, you won't fall behind. This program is so in-depth, so wonderful, and so beautiful, and I just can hardly find any cons. Although I will say at times some of it read like a textbook, most of the time it was very fun and kept the reader engaged. Sometimes my kids wanted to skip around on certain parts, and that's okay. But I love that. I would love to see more science experiments. There are science experiments built into this book, but man, they just learn so much when they have those built-in hands-on science experiments. And so I would love to see more of those for this curriculum. But as I said, it's very hard to critique this curriculum. It has so many pros. So let me do a quick flip through so that you can see what you think about this curriculum. So as I said, there are so many of these books out there. So I brought a few of these to show to you. This is Swimming Creatures, and I will flip through now. So here we go. So as you can see, first thing I flipped to is an experiment. So we talk about each animal, and see, we're talking about echinoderms. Ooh, I may not have said that right. Echinoderms, I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me below. Tell me the phonetic way to say that. I'm so sorry. So we have a lot of detailed imagery here. We have a lot of labeling, but they're so in-depth. You really learn about each one. And so let me give you the suggestion as I flip through some more so you can see. So we have, it's just so fun, this curriculum. See, here we go, an ocean box that you can create at home. So there are a lot of great things, a lot of pretty images, a lot of words, a lot of vocabulary. So as you can see, you won't get behind with Apologia Science, and that's one thing that I love about it. But let me give you my suggestion for what it's worth with Apologia Science, because here's where I got stuck. I wanted to go through the chapter and be done and check it off my list, but that doesn't always work. It was so much information. So for me, I would take it 1 to 2 pages at a time. Otherwise, you're overwhelming your reader with so much information. For me, that's what worked for us, was just slowing down. Now, there may be days where they're excited about science and we go through 5 or 6 pages and do a couple science experiments. But that's what I'm saying, is go at your own pace. Don't feel like you need to go by the recommended pace, but go through at your own pace. So let me show you really quick a junior notebook so you can see what it looks like. So for the junior notebook, you will find a lot of Bible verses that you can write, and what I love about this is that there's print and cursive, one on each side. So whether your child is at, whether they're learning print or whether they're learning cursive, it's a great way. And let me encourage you to have your kids memorize these verses as well. Have them write it in multicolored pens and pencils and however they want to do, draw for this verse and put it up on your window so that they can see and memorize these verses week by week. So here's a look at the verses. So here you have the print side right here and this cute little writing, and then you have cursive over here. So they have both ways to do it. So I love when people include that. Look at this. This is a detailed look at a label of an egg. So your child fills it in, they color, and that is a great way for them to learn. I also encourage, even when you see these drawings, man, I love to grab Play-Doh out and have different colors. They cost you 50 cents each. Do 5 different colors and have them make a model of each thing. That gets them hands-on learning too. I love to color, but I also love to bring it 3D to them so that they can really feel it, touch it, and make it a day experience. If you think back as a child, the things that you learned were the things where you felt engaged and hands-on. So even if they spend a couple hours on this, on science, it is not time lost. Get some toothpicks, make some labels to glue on those toothpicks, and label your Play-Doh egg and make that be an hour, a 2-hour thing so that you're learning, you're reading about it, you're learning, you're doing a hands-on topic, and then read a Charlotte Mason style book. And this is a great way to spend a Friday. Do your science experiments, do your science work when you have just a little bit more time to give it so you don't feel as rushed. So let me show you a couple more pages of this book because that is my favorite things when I watch these reviews, is seeing the different pages. So we have different verses, lots of different coloring pages. And look at this. So they write about their insects and they write different things. And then also for you nostalgic moms like me, you have this beautiful book that you can keep with all of their precious drawings in it. So I love that too. It's just a fun way to look back. So let me show you a couple other of the Apologia books so that you can see the different topics and maybe some of the different books and what you would like. So here is Exploring Creation with Zoology 3. So as you can see, there's so many levels of this book. So here we go. We have a Bible verse here and we have a snake. It's talking about different Bible verses in Corinthians and Romans. And so we really have a Bible-focused science curriculum. So as you can see, we've got lots of pictures, lots of exciting questions that they ask along the way so that they keep your reader engaged. And like I said, there's some parts where it's a little slow, but that's the only really con that I could come up with. So I also have flying creatures. So let me flip that for you. So as you can see, we're learning about aerodynamics, flight, all different kinds of birds, reptiles. So it just goes through so many different things. We talk about moths, antennas, eyes, compound eyes. So there are so many different things about this that is just so beautiful and so wonderful for them to learn. So that is Apologia Science. And now we will move on to Gather Round. So for as much as I love Apologia Science, I love Gather Round just as much. It's so hard for me. You can see how much time I would spend on science if I didn't have to spend time on anything else learning with our homeschooling. So we love Gather Round, and let me tell you the pros of Gather Round. I love all of the different topics. So I am just a learner at heart. So we have all these different topics. We've done birds, we've done South America, one of our favorites. We have done botany, and we have done Christmas, and so many great Gather Round. I just couldn't bring them all out. There's so many topics we have done. And if you look on Gather Round's page, there are so many that you can choose from, so many topics. What I love about Gather Round, and I'll flip through for you, you have a teacher's manual, and then this is your early elementary guide. So Gather Round, the great thing about Gather Round is it goes through each age, and so you print it out as a bundle. You can do a digital bundle or you can print. I always do digital, and once you do the digital, you spend around $50 right now. That's what it is, and you spend $50 and you get each level it comes with. So if I have early elementary and upper elementary, those both come with this digital download. They also have high school. So once you buy this, you can use it for your kids as they grow older too, and use it for your younger ones as they grow older. So what a great deal. And you get to pick the topics. They're not in any kind of order, so you can go in any order that you want. You might want to talk about machines and cars, and then you might want to talk about animals, or you might want to talk about England. They there are so many different topics to choose. And I also found a new one, which we haven't done yet. We bought one, which is Campfire Curriculum, and I want to check that out too. So I will be doing a review about that later on. So let me know, have you ever tried any science that you absolutely adore? Tell me down in the comments below. I would love to hear about those. I just can't wait to hear more about science because it is so fun to learn. So with the bird unit, with Gather Round, each week there is a new bird that you study. So for this week, it was American Robin. And so as we go through American Robin, we talk about the diet, we talk about the habitat, we talked about an interesting fact, and we talked about geography, the Gulf of Mexico, and as you can see, we have a cute little drawing. I love that. I love flipping back on old curriculum and finding sweet little drawings. It's so much fun. And so then we talk about, we drew the American Robin. So I love that we get to learn so much. Now the teacher's manual is super detailed. As you flip through the teacher's manual, you see all these different interesting facts, and that's what you will read from for Gather Round. You will read to them all this information, and as they go along, they can fill out the pages or wait till the very end. So as they go along, they learn so much. If anybody you've talked to has done Gather Round, they learn so much. And the pro about Gather Round is that you can pick your own topic. You can learn so much about those topics. It is so detailed. It is so interesting. But let me tell you my con. It reads like a textbook again. So there is not any, like, where they kind of pull you in as a reader. It's more like information. So it's very nonfiction, straightforward information about each topic. Now, my heart, I love having a Charlotte Mason style, but I love how detailed this is. I love the hands-on element. So that's my pros about this curriculum, and that's why we have done a lot of Gather Round, because while I wish that it would be read more like a story, I love all the information it gives, and it also points back to the Lord. There's Bible verses, there's art, there's so many wonderful things about this curriculum, but my major con is I would love for it to read like a story. That would make it the perfect curriculum. So, but there is no perfect curriculum. We know that. We all homeschoolers, we've tried every curriculum thinking we would find it. It's not there. You know what? God has us right where we need to be. And as we pray about this curriculum, He will show us the path and the way. So don't feel like, even if you purchase one and you don't feel like it's a perfect fit, don't feel like you did the wrong thing. God has a perfect curriculum for you and your family that'll work perfect for your family. And let me tell you why another reason I love this curriculum is because it is so family focused. I can gather all of my kids around and we can all do this curriculum together. So my early elementary, my upper elementary, my preschooler, we can all sit around and do the same curriculum, and it's so much fun to all be together. So another huge pro for Gather Round. We love it. It is so exciting, so neat, so hands-on. So I did a review of Gather Round in depth, and so if you want more information about Gather Round, I will leave the video up above. You can see it right there so that you can check out for yourself. Very detailed. You'll see the teacher's manual. You'll see the student books. You'll see all the detailed pros and cons. So check that out if you want more information. So I wanted to show you real quick a teacher's manual because I don't feel like you get enough information without seeing the teacher's manual itself. So this one was for South America, our very favorite unit for Gather Round. So do you see how in-depth this is? We have a lot of information here. We go through ecosystems and animals. So we also look here, see there's so much text here, so much information that they learn as they go through this. And then they love to do this. This is so wonderful. My favorite thing is that they have the schedule right here of exactly what you should be doing so you don't ever get lost. And that's huge. I do not like to get lost in a curriculum and not know what to do next. So this is great for that. So let's move on now to Masterbooks. So here is the elementary zoology book. This is the teacher's manual. So as you go through here, you see there is a list, a supply list to start with. So it tells you each week what supply you need. It also goes through and gives you a very detailed schedule. So you have, let's see, we have week 1, day 1, day through 5, and it tells you exactly what to do. So that's huge in my book. I need that schedule to keep me focused. I will say a little bit of a con for this curriculum is that when you start off and you see some of these pages, you're like, oh, do I really have time to color right now? So So that's great. I would love to see hands-on art, that maybe if they make their own creation or have a step-by-step guide, that kind of step back a little bit for me. And for 4th through 6th grade, I have a hard time spending time coloring, because while they want to make everything perfect and beautiful, it's hard for me to let that go. I need a little bit more skill involved, I guess, during my school day. So we have some fill in the blank here. We have some fun different activities right here. And as you can see, not super detailed, probably not my favorite workbook. If you can see, we've got some number to number. Some of it just kind of was a little bit too young for me for 4th through 6th grade. So I think it's valuable, but I think that there could be more to it. I wish that they would revise this, make it a little bit different. So I think that they have. I think that there is a slight revision, because when I went online to check to see if these were the newest books, some of it had been revised. So I wonder if maybe the teacher's manual has a little bit more workbooks, pages that are more, I guess, older for the kids. So that is something definitely to check out, and that is something that I will be purchasing as well and can let you know about. So let's move on to the books that are in this curriculum so that you can see for yourself if this is something that is valuable to you. And I will say these books were in this curriculum when I checked back on the revised edition, so you can see for yourself. There is one book that I do not have, but you can check it out online. And so I will show you the book. So I will tell you what I love about Masterbooks is that most of it is Charlotte Mason. Now I feel like with this curriculum, it's not a Charlotte Mason based. And that was a huge con for me too. So as you look through this book, it tells you, it has this big, huge book, which kind of takes up a lot of space. It's a great book. It has a lot of great pictures, a lot of great Bible verses, but I would say it's more fact-based and it's more not as many fun details. It doesn't really bring your reader in like it does with the history curriculum. So I will say this probably wasn't my favorite science curriculum. It has a lot of good images and I wanted to love it. It has a great step-by-step program and it tells you a lot of information, a lot of great pictures, a lot of great information, but still kind of reading like a textbook. So let me show you these other books that I have for Masterbooks so that you can kind of decide for yourself. So here is the Complete Aquarium Adventure, and I got this book and thought I would just adore it. And it has a lot of great facts, a lot of great images, but I will say it's more textbook again. So we have green sea turtle. It tells you information about the green sea turtle, tells you information about the alligators, and it's very cute. But I will say, as I flip through, you can see all these different pictures and all this different information. But I will say, while the pictures were great and the information is very valid and very factual, I still didn't have my kids engaged in science like I wanted to. This book is beautiful and it's great for knowledge, but it's not a big pull your reader in kind of book. So here is the Complete Zoo Adventure. It's another book that is in this curriculum. Here we go. Here, again, after the zoo, we take a field trip to the zoo. Here's some fine and color. Again, I'm a little confused on the age here. I feel like this is a more younger kind of step towards with coloring and stuff like that. We have different information about zoo animals. It's all very good, all very factual. There's Bible verses included, but really just read still more like a textbook. So guys, I'm so glad you stuck around to the very end. Let me show you really quick those Charlotte Mason based books that I wanted to show you so that you can have some books in your library that are fun, hands-on, engaging, and still having your kids learn. So here is one of the books, One Tiny Turtle. If you want to do a sea turtle study, there's so many great books about sea turtles. And what I want to do, if you'll stick around and subscribe, I want to do some unit studies so that we can go through ocean animals or turtles, and so that I can find all these books, collect some resources for you so that you can have fun doing unit studies as well. So stick around for that, hit subscribe so that you will be informed whenever there is a new video on science or a new video on unit studies. So stick around for that. Let me kind of flip through this book. So I always pick books that are fun, that are sweet, where they learn. There's a lot of rich vocabulary, a lot of rich pictures. So here's the book. Here's this book, One Tiny Turtle. Then we move on to, as you can see, I have a love for sea turtles. Follow the Moon Home. This is another great book, another sweet book for science. Kind of goes through the story of how these turtles, they need their space to have the little eggs and different things like that, and how the community kind of came together for that. So it's a sweet little book. I would probably put it at 1st through 4th grade, maybe. That's kind of like the age range that I'm kind of sticking with here. So this one, a little bit younger crowd, but they have Curious George Discoveries, and there are 4 different books, I believe, and these are all wonderful. They're fun for the kids to learn. I'd say 1st, 2nd grade, kindergarten. Really goes through a lot of details about the different topics that they're talking about, but I believe there's 4 different books in this series about different things, and so these are cute, these are great, and they have these little did you know sections where they give more in detail information about what topic you're learning about that is nonfiction, and then the rest of it's a regular George storybook where he goes through these adventures, but people are teaching your children to learn through these. So these were great. I have, I think all of those, almost all of those. I love this one, this Nature Connection book. This is one where you can just kind of go into nature and do a nature study, draw the different things. They have different things for you to look at, ways to draw how this flower unfolds, how a daffodil unfolds. So we had a lot of fun with this book. I will show you, let me see. Here's one of our drawings right here. So here you get to date it and picture it, and so it's a great memory book also. We've had a couple of these, so these are really sweet books. I'll also show you for birds, for the birds units for Gather Round. This was a great book. I love everything DK up here. It's so good, so rich with information. As you can see, fun little book. Made it fun, have a little hands-on way to make a yogurt cup into a bird feeder. How sweet is that? So yes, these books are all sweet, all fun, all engaging. This is another book, 100 Facts. There are several of these books, 100 Facts. So all of these have different facts as you go through 1 through 100 of these different animals, all very exciting, adventurous facts. So I love that, but very detailed about our Earth. So I will tell you my top favorite additional science book is this series, The Indescribable and How Great Thou Art, I think, I'm not sure. But there's another book just like this. It has science information in it. This is great. It has a Bible verse. You can also find ones, if you're in classical conversations that kind of go along with the weeks, that is a great tool too. So it has a Bible verse. You go through, you learn these science facts, you learn to be amazed. So this page right here is talking about how a laminin looks like a cross. How cool is that? So it tells you be amazed, it tells you all these different facts. Guys, I love these books. These are amazing, so sweet, so science-based. They're not little kiddie, they're fun, they're engaging, they're exciting, and they have so much information packed in each page. Great devotionals too, really brings it in to grow your child more towards Christ, and isn't that the most important thing? So I hope you enjoyed this curriculum review and flip through. I hope you check out the other videos. I'll link some other videos below. I have history curriculum reviews and science and Spanish and many different reviews that you can look over for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that subscribe and that bell button and like this video. It helps this channel so much. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.